Hey friend, Chris here. Welcome to the All-Inclusive Lifestyle Show where we help people cultivate energy, restore balance, and live an inspired life. I have a special guest here today. Her name is Tracy. She's a graduate from the All-Inclusive Lifestyle Academy. She has lost 52 pounds. More importantly, she has kept it off. And welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thanks for having me.
I brought Tracy on this show because she has this incredible story of evolution and the things that she's doing now, and I bet you'd never thought this, but they're exciting. I'm talking about the food you eat, I'm talking about all the exercise that you do, and all the things that are different about your lifestyle. And that's why I really wanted to share this with all of our viewers today, because this is where I love people to get to, and not everybody does get to. A lot of people drop out of the game, if they've got a certain goal. Usually it's a weight loss goal, and once they get there, then there's just no more excitement, there's no more energy to keep them going forward. But that hasn't happened with you. So I'm really curious to why you're still at this, why you're still energetic about it, excited about it, and you're still getting results, you're still evolving. So maybe the best way to start this interview is by telling everyone, where were you before? And before, we're talking about, I guess, about 18 months ago. 18 months ago, Tracy was 52 pounds heavier, and it's not just about that. It was more than just the weight on the scale. I really want to know, how were you feeling back then, 18 months ago?
Well, I guess what started it was an event, and my cousin was getting married, and I wanted to, I guess, look as good as I could for the wedding. I was in the wedding. And of course that always starts with weight loss when you're constantly overweight kind of thing. And so, but at the time I thought everything was sort of normal. I was dealing with the negativity, that I always dealt with the weight issues and that type of thing. So it was the same sort of cyclical pattern that I was following, whereas I have an event, I have a goal, I just want to hit those numbers. That's all I needed to focus on.
Now you mentioned that life was normal before, so you weren't really aware that there was a problem like you have that awareness now looking back 18 months ago.
Exactly. It was the physical, which is what you focus on when you're thinking about losing weight. So it was just the physical. And I just wanted to get to that point where I thought, okay, these numbers are okay, I look okay, that type of thing. Or I look different than where I am now. Not realizing at the time that there was so much more involved in it. And that's what this journey has been about. What's been different about it this time is realizing that there were so many more elements, or facets, to use your own terminology, that were part and parcel of getting to where I wanted to be, getting to a peaceful place and sustaining it. And that was the difference.
How long do you think you had a weight problem for?
Off and on for 20 years.
20 years.
Easily.
Wow, wow. So this is quite remarkable. I always tell people that, listen, when we're forecasting what's going to happen here, you've got this weight problem, here's the weight problem solution, but you're going to have to be patient about this. And just to put it into perspective, you had a weight problem for 20 years. Now, there is still much more for you to do, and more growth and evolution and more of the journey. But boy, in 18 months, you've made quite the correction that happened, or the damage that's happened over 20 years. So that's not a bad payoff. You always look at it in finances, like, hey, if you went bankrupt, and in this case, we can go physically bankrupt too, and then our weight is just a symptom of that bankruptcy. So to make that correction, boy, like if you went bankrupt financially to live as you are now, which is really, there is no a dollar amount I can put to that. That's quite the correction. That's quite the accomplishment in such a short amount of time. Now, it didn't take 30 days,
No, and I really wish it had only taken 30 days. But at the beginning of this, it was always that question of, why isn't this happening faster? I'm working hard, I'm doing what you say, I'm eating the way you want me to, and I'm like, shouldn't I already be at my goal? 30 days in.
Yeah.
And I think that has been part of one of the benefits is that it has been long and learning, and it wasn't rapid like it has been in the past, because that's what the results have always been. I want to lose weight. I want to hit this number, this weight number, this number on the scale, this size, whatever. And then once you hit that, then what? What do I do then? And there was nobody there that was going to answer that question.
Got it.
So it was like, okay, well, I hit that, and now I'll just go back to the bad habits and the emotional state unknowingly,
right,
to the emotional state that I was in. And so then back up you'd go.
So how many times did you actually attempt to lose weight?
A lot, but like significantly, probably 3 or 4 times over those 20 years where it was a significant weight loss.
Wow.
Yeah.
So before we move on with the journey and just find out exactly what Tracy did and how she lost 52 pounds and kept it off, can I ask you another question here? What is the most challenging event or thing that happened to you in your life? And, did that have anything to do with you, being perhaps 50 pounds overweight and having a weight problem for, like you said, about 20 years?
I don't know if there was anything, I've encountered the challenges. There's been some traumas and that type of thing. But I think for me, it's now knowing how significant emotions are in it, is looking back at a lot of those things, is that you get into this negative space, you start to teach yourself the negativity, you start to believe it, and then it just becomes this cycle. So that every time you encounter some type of pain, it's very easy to mask it, for lack of a better phrase, to go back into this protective mode. And for me, it was food and a sedentary lifestyle, that type of thing. And it was this protection. So, it's just something you start to believe that that's the easy way to deal with things.
Right. And it really is you. It became you. You identified with that particular you. The person that, was more afraid than you are today over just, whatever is coming at you in your life. And the antidotes of, sedentary lifestyle and food and all the other things that you used to, as you said, mask it, like you didn't know anything different.
Yeah, it became the norm. So the norm was, I'm going to fail at weight loss. So when I did that, then I was being successful, basically, right? So that became the pattern, is that this is what I expect, and this is what I got out of it.
A friend of mine, his name's Giovanni, and he is the founder of the Archangel Entrepreneurs Group. Anyways, he lost, I think it was about 60 pounds, I think. And he said that he identified with his former self as a computer, in the sense that the way his brain thought was on factory settings. And unfortunately, our human nature is set to be very afraid of life, afraid of living, afraid of going out the front door. And because of that, it basically takes a lot of power, draws a lot of power away from us. And in extreme cases, and again, weight is just a symptom of that, we become powerless, right? So what he did, or how he explained it, is he basically reset his programming. And it took some time, and he's in that frame that you were at about, a year and a half or so. But he basically reprogrammed his mind, through different practices and rituals, and a lot of the stuff, that we've done in the program together. And he's basically been able to keep the weight off with this new program that he has, where there's a lot more gratitude, a lot more appreciation for what's going on in his life. And how valuable is energy to you? Huge. But you know what? When you're running on fumes day in and day out, and that's your normal, as you called it, you wouldn't even know what it feels like to have a full tank. We talk about this in the program. We say that, it's really a power problem. the weight problem, the addiction problem, the emotional problem, anxiety, depression, maybe even some of the self-created health problems are really power problems in the sense that, we are running on fumes and we don't even know what it feels like to have a full tank. So we don't have a comparable, so we don't have any more gravity towards, going out and getting that full tank, because there's things we need to do. We need to put the work in. Work on self, and also some work out there as well, strengthening our relationships and getting financially stable and all those other things that decrease our fears. But long story short, if we're only running on fumes, we can't even see that. So I guess now you got your eye on that gauge and you know when you're running low on energy. Well, what do you do to keep you energized?
I go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
You go to the gym?
Oh yeah,
that's
a huge. What?
6 days a week. This young lady over here, which by the way, you look absolutely amazing. There is really a before and after story here. I can see it. And as humans, I think we need to see that too. You know what I mean? Just to get, that comparable. Yeah. But you go to the gym, all sarcasm aside, what else do you do?
I do a little bit of meditation.
What do you mean by that?
Just taking moments where, like in the car, a moment to breathe, a moment to relax. There are certain places I like to go, just walks where I'm just out and surrounded by nothing. I read a lot. That energizes me, and more people are sort of recognizing the changes in me, and I'm becoming more and more passionate about talking about that and sharing that experience and the journey. And because everybody seems to be stuck in that same rut that I had been in the past. And because I feel so good where I am now, I would love for other people to be able to experience that as well.
So what I'd like to ask now is, where could you help anyone else that's struggling with a weight problem, an emotional problem, health problem, or even an addiction problem? Now, obviously, those things, you didn't have all of them. You were focused on, hey, I have a weight problem, but now I think you can see that there's correlation between all of those problems being power problems. But what is something that you can gift to our viewers today, some words of wisdom that would help them if they're struggling right now with any program of change? Could be quitting smoking, it could be losing weight, it could be lowering your blood pressure, and some sort of lesson that you were given through this journey that you can pass on.
I think just to sort of go back to something that you said earlier is the acronym for the how. Is that, like I said, for me, and I think for a lot of other people, it starts with this physical element of whatever it is. Weight loss, stopping smoking, whatever it is. I think we think of it as a physical issue. And I think it is what I can pass along, and what I have learned in these last 18 months is that to be honest with yourself and with what you're doing, and to be open and willing to look at different aspects of what it is you're going through, to look beyond that initial goal, to look beyond that initial number, that initial element that you think you're dealing with, and be open to other people and other ways of doing things, because that has really been what has helped me and will help me sustain, because I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to continue along this path. Yeah. And I think that I found somebody that was able to get me to look beyond, and just that what I thought was my problem really was just the bonus of everything, like the result of that, the weight loss. It was the bonus of everything else that I was learning along the way, and it was just being open to it, because at first I wasn't. So it's that willingness to be open to the things that you are teaching, and because it has helped me immensely.
Right. And how did you do that exactly?
What do you mean, sorry?
So you're talking about surrender. You're talking about being vulnerable. You're talking about putting up the white flag and saying, hey, listen, I don't know everything, and I don't got everything together, and I need some help. And, you know, that was an evolution for you, right? Or maybe even a revolution, because it was completely backwards of the way you were conducting yourself and the way that, you know, your belief system, the way you felt before. So was it just a time thing? Was it a focus thing?
When I was very resistant to opening up and being vulnerable, and because for so long you protect that, and
it takes a lot of energy too, eh?
It does. It takes a lot of energy. So I wasn't used to sharing, and in that capacity, face my fears and realizing that they were fears, and what it was that I was protecting, and realizing that moving beyond those fears, facing them, being vulnerable, that it's okay to ask for help and to look for different ways of doing things. That progression is sort of what has bolstered me to get where I am today. Historically, you start and you finish because you hit your goal, whatever that was, and then you were done.
Right.
So you either slid back down or you plateaued. Whereas this time, once I sort of hit that wedding date, then it was like, well, what else can I do? What more can I do? How much better can I feel? And that has pushed me on. And, you know, we continue to talk every day, and I enjoy talking to you with our sessions because you bring something different to it, a different energy. And that is the sustaining point for me. It's what's pushing me because it feels good. And why fix it if it's not broken?
Right. So you have a different gravity towards positivity and positive energy. And you know the difference now between low level, you know, low power or powerless type feelings. And now you just keep gravitating, good days, bad days, some fluctuations along the way, but you keep striving for positive energy.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being here. This has been incredible. What a journey. And from what I understand, it's not over yet. There's still much more for you to do and see and become. And, you know, that's exactly where I want every student that I coach to understand that, you know, there is no end point. You know, the end point is really the end point, you know, that obviously we all have to face. But we have so much more that we can do in between, but we really need to take care of ourselves, understand ourselves in order to have enough energy and balance, right, to keep on growing and keep, you know, looking for more light, more sunlight, more positivity, as you call it. So thanks again for being here. Till the next all-inclusive lifestyle show, inspire to aspire.